Okay, so I'm gonna take this off. There's people over there, and I try to keep people off of my video when I'm talking. Check this out. See that? I like that. Get into it like this. Mm-hmm. And that quick. Oh, ow. Just, just that quick, it was out. This was a season of time where this was happening to me. And do you know what I'm kind of believing? That whatever is assigned to me since birth has made the claim inside of my brain that money isn't as hard as one thinks when you start to sue people for their neglectments. When I was in Lickdale, where they put a new Wendy's after making it very difficult, the government. Hey government, I want you to go to Lickdale and just off the Interstate 81 at Indiantown Gap, I want you to go down to the red light there and see what has happened with all this commercial industry stuff, including a trucking company that is very dangerous because of how slow they pull out. Huh? They got 53 foot. It was anyway when I lived there. I think I ought to come to that area and shut it down. Tell them to go relocate. Go back to Harrisburg or wherever you came from. I lived in that area first. Okay? Which means I have more say than somebody who came from out of the area. The township in Swatera shut down something I would have appreciated after living there my whole life, since 1972. And then they opened up a Wendy's not so much longer later at what I perceive a very dangerous intersection. Notice there's a Dairy Queen, there's a gas station there, I bet you Bush loves that, right? And Hindu Indians, do you love it too? Then you have Wendy's and you have a hotel resort, all this corporate stuff right there on the corner. Conveniently off of Interstate 81 and Indiantown Gap exit. By the way, when you go up the road a little bit away from the red light, you'll find out that that's military land by the government. The same fucking government that makes it very difficult for everybody else to live. And God left me know I could have that land if I wanted it when I stayed in the trailer right across the street from it. Now, God, how do you know what I don't know? Evidently, God knows something else and knows other people too. That says that what? I could close down the army base that's back there. Chances are they're extremely corrupted. If it's not the soldiers, then it's something within the soldiers. As I almost got run over by a tank and it startled me, which would be reason enough to sue the army. Why is it that they can take tanks across a state or country road, blacktop? But if I were to take anything remotely close to a tank and run it down Interstate 70, I would be arrested. I want to ask the high ranks of the military, who the fuck do you think you are? Bullying everybody around until bullying comes back to you someday, that's what you are? I would tell anybody overseas that cannot stand the United States, again, don't go after the citizens, they're innocent. Go after the high-rank military people. Go after the high-rank government. Yeah, go after them. Why? Because it's their dictation of what they're being told to do? Because it's coming from afar. From a whole nother planet, most likely way up there, which is given a great state of unhealthy life circumstances for everyone. I love these muffins a lot. I don't want to eat them every day, but for a season of time while I was recording in my studio, I ate a lot of them. And the reason is because the United States government only gave me, what was it, $12 to $15 on a food card. I got Social Security, but that Social Security that I have has been being used for other needs that I have as well as desires. And with that being said, I have to live on an extremely tight balance, which makes it make it very, very difficult for me if I wanted to just pick up and relocate without suing the government for more money. Your Social Security and your food should not be looked at as addressed as the same. I don't want to go into the details of that right now, but $15 a month for food, there's not a person in the world that can live on that. And if they do, chances are you don't want that to be you. Notice that during a season of time when everybody's putting a mask on their face, Tracilyn finally noticed what an increase in the food card department. And for the first time, I could start to, was able to go shopping more than just at Walmart. The next Walmart that goes up and they're trying to convince the local citizens that it's what's best for the community, I don't really know the answer for that, but I would love to talk to you about the details of my perspective on that alone subject. Hold them accountable for providing the very best of everything and then ask them why they're selling the food to people who are hungry. Don't they want us to live a long, happy life and be healthy? Do you think they are? Do you think the people who are, where are they from? Where's Sam at? And where's Sam from? You started off selling panties, is that at a hardware store? But if I were to put my panties online and start selling them, they would try to shut me down for prostitution or something. Because that's what they tried to do ever since I came out here to Ohio, is keep trying to set me up for stuff. And they get very irritated when they can't. You were telling people for years you need to be able to get your needs met in a manner that you can take care of yourself. And everybody says that you gotta figure it out. I figured it out, and I'm what? Now sharing it with you, that is the most selfish thing for anybody to say, is for people to figure it out. Why are people so scared to just tell you how to, ways? What are different ways? Why doesn't a licensed church tell you different ways you can get your needs met? Does a local church community from Chicago that are all these mother churches and Joyce Meyer's ministries, do they have access to a God's plan for health insurance and the best of everything, and to land and housing and clothing? The reason that I'm saying this with the food is I have been wanting to share that for a long time, but I'm busy all the time working on my music right now. I wanted to do the bulk load of songs before I was 50, because it wasn't my plan. I don't want to go through the details as to how and why I ended up writing as many songs as I did, but I will tell you that I enjoyed what I enjoyed through it all. But one of the greatest disappointments is I found out that there are people tapped into my brain. They're on my computer. They make it very difficult for me to record. In other words, they're messing up my project continuously, making the audio sputter, causing latency issues. I went through speakers and headphones. Okay, they fry stuff. They fried my sweeper, they fried my heater, because I had a portable heater. Anything electric. And why is that? All I'm doing is recording my music. I mean, I was self-employed. I understand the difficulties in anything really forming that is considered to have a balance in life and have a great life in the process of doing it. That's why I never really understood why a lot of these rock bands play all these low dive places. Why are they selling alcohol? You know, why are they playing places where they sell immense amount or large quantities of alcohol to people that most people would perceive as children? At some point in their life, didn't they become intelligent and say no more? Selling tickets for a show is one thing, but going and packing venues where alcohol is induced, and then what, it's all their problems. They did it to themselves, says Joyce Myers, as they all drive away and get pulled over by undercover cops and stuff. There needs to be a sting operation for that. So anyway, I'm done. I'm going to show a little bit more video footage. My battery's going out. And to the cereal company, you're an asshole. For the email that I got, I wish I was with it right now so I could share it with you. Maybe when I go home, I'll look quick. I don't have time to really mess around with this stuff. That was done probably about 1.5 to 2 years ago. And I just want to say that all that's tied to it, even Kellogg's, you're a fucking bunch of assholes. There needs, instead of putting masks on the face, government, why don't you watch out for our teeth? Huh? Why don't you inform people that if they're grinding their teeth when they sleep at night, it's not because of stress, it's because of electrocution? Huh? And it's best to put a mouth guard in your mouth. I've been doing that for years. 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 Because I've been grinding my teeth since I had teeth, and I didn't understand why. That's the enemy who seeks to make you toothless. And by the way, when stuff gets into cereal and stuff like that, and it can chip and break teeth, what do we got to go through to get Kellogg's to pay for it? Since it came from what they're selling us? Huh? Are they selling us a chipped tooth? Then why don't they pay for it? I'm not saying that my tooth got chipped because of a carrot I bit into. You know, what's the answer to that? The answer is you go to the dentist, you talk to him, you explain what happens, he fixes it, you pay for it. Well, there you go. Why don't we have health insurance that pays for it? I can't stand insurance companies that will tell me that a tree falling on my car back when I was 17 was an act of God. But everything else isn't until you get into words and you start realizing everything that occurs is an act of God. Insurance companies, this is great. You have another office building down by the river, huh? Instead of giving them to people that they can actually live and enjoy their life, by a river where they couldn't just go and lay out in their bikini, because if they do that, a cop will show up and say that's being perverted to the children. You know, there's children around us, you know, because that's how Dayton police are. You must cover yourself. I think the ways of old are still lingering in the human race, period. Is there a nude beach or something around here that I could go to while I'm staying in Ohio? I'm hoping I don't have to live here the rest of my life. I'm hoping that I can move somewhere that's more compatible in alignment of things that I would have wanted to do on a day-to-day basis. Just to come to this park was like, what, a half hour, 40-minute drive for me. Okay, they don't even have a sign in the front that tells you what park it is, so I have no idea. It's Troy Park, evidently. And that's okay, but, you know, so it's the city of Troy. And what I wanted to say, one of the cool things is one of my favorite things that I studied in world studies or social studies, I think it was probably world studies, is about the Trojan horse, you know. Excuse me, that was one of my favorite, and you know, that's where this big like wooden horse was made by a group of people, and then it was like kind of like a gift offering, and it got through the gates that were kind of walled out. I don't really know how to put the story into words right now, but what ended up happening then in the middle of the night, the soldiers that were hiding inside of there, you know, kind of took over whatever it was, the village or the area that they had fenced off. You know, I don't know if they actually successfully took it over, but they attacked anyway. So, alrighty, Rudy, I am going to get battery. My memory card is going out. I do want to stop by somewhere else, and I would just like to say that instead of trying to force people to cover their ear holes, why don't you work on a dental plan for everybody in the United States that they can have full access to all dental services provided in our country, no matter what it is. If they provide it, they shouldn't be able to provide it if it's something that's harmful to the human race. Let us be able to go to our local dentist and trust in our conversation that what is best for us will be the outcome. And forget about Uncle Sam. Evidently, he's a stingy piece of shit. How about God starts taking care of God's children a little bit sweeter than of days in the past? And when a child needs something, they don't have to end up sitting on a beach eroding away for years before somebody finally comes to their senses and says, we'll build you a 5x5 room right here in the parking lot. Because that's what makes sense, isn't it? Especially with all these abandoned homes all over the place that the banks repo or keep. Evict everybody from. How many people ended up homeless there because the bank took their home and kicked them out? How many letters did they get? You know, you have X amount of time to move. It'd be interesting to actually go and interview those people and find out what exactly, because I met a man out there who said, oh, Tracilyn, they do this to themselves. They did this to themselves, did they? No, they didn't do it to themselves. Okay? That way is pushed on by people who enforce unhealthy states of livelihood. It's not supportive of life. Sir, why isn't the Air Force, high ranks in Ohio, telling me what's going on with the privacy invasion of my brain space? Huh? My computer? The marks on my arms? Are they afraid? Are they afraid to talk to me and tell me the truth? Do you think any of them are behind it? Huh? Do you think somewhere here by Dayton, Ohio in Yellow Springs or somewhere, there's a buzz cut and he's electrocuting me? Huh? And he's using technology to invade my home? Do you think so? Because they say they're from overseas, is that it? No, they say they're from a different country. That doesn't mean that they don't live in our country. But they're saying, no, they don't live in our country because what? They live in the laws of other countries. That's really nice. Who is our next door neighbor? All right, I'm back. I'm going to take this and put it in this, along with this. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to sit at the White House in DC, and I like to provide this all on their plates that they're going to eat. I'd like to mix it in their food. Maybe the governor, too, could be invited, and the mayor of Dayton, Ohio. Put this on your plate, now eat it. Show me how it can be done. Wow, Tracilyn, you're being a little bit absurd and blah, blah. Am I? I used to work in factories. A lot of this is neglectments. Okay, this here, look how big that is. That's neglectments. And by the way, if they're doing things in such bulk that they can't monitor what's going into each bag, maybe they should downsize, and that alone would provide more human live jobs. Instead of machinery, there could be more people, but is the heart in the right... Joyce Myers would say, is your heart at the right place? Huh? Because she wants you to be confused. I have to make my heart right instead of my heart is my heart. And if I surrender to my heart, I would be a lot happier living places I want to live. If I had money, and I was only talking to people that were beneficial for the life I desire. And the only time I'd hug people is when I felt like it, instead of manipulating my brain to hug whoever. It's been a heck of a 2 years and 5 months in the recording studio here in Dayton, Ohio. With the limited parking, very stressful. Chex Mix. During a holiday occasion at the White House, somebody please slip this in. Oh, well then it would be an act of what? Something against one of our country leaders. Was it a threat against their life? Their health? Really? No, maybe it's instead of frickin' making us wear this, you should make the corporations start being more mindful of stuff like this in the food. And when somebody learns about it, oh, this is what happened? Don't you think that a personal call from somebody who's uncourteous should say, we are terribly sorry that happened, and we want to say that to you? Huh? And what can we do to make this right? I'll tell you what they can do. They can start in the bank account and a check, because I need millions to fulfill the life inside my brain. And you know what God tells me on a regular basis when I see these houses out in Hollywood, Beverly Hills? You don't even need but a portion of that. And you could have a very fulfilling life because of who you are is what matters. Wow, $60 million for a house. I wonder who's paying cash for that. Why ain't I sucking his dick? Huh? That would be nice. Yeah, you have a $60 million house? How about we get together? Joyce Meyer says that all I'm doing is using you. Are you okay with that? Would you happen to have a yacht? Do you have servants? Yes. I think people should form together and what? Sue anybody who was on TV recommending to wear a mask. That was the most ignorant thing that I've witnessed in our lives. And if it's one thing that's going to what? Acknowledge the fact that God wants Tracilyn to know, you don't respect position, your elders, the people before you. You don't respect another human being before you respect God. Now, God told you, you need money. A lot of it. And instead of doing and working the manner of things that I have been doing it, like when it comes to live entertainment, you don't need more shows. You need to make more money and less shows so that you can stay busy on the other endeavors that evidently God has for me. And I've been saying that for years. Only I don't know how to go about it unless I pay everybody for everything. And I'm not going to do it. Why? Because you can give money to a fool and you can get that money back by selling him something. But you're never going to get another human being to come into greatness if it isn't inside their brain to be great. Evidently, God might, be African American. Even though that wasn't my greatest impression, I could do way better than that. If I just allow God to use the honky. Look, I'm not going to let it lay on this picnic table. Now I'm going to take this Troy Community Park. This box is worth a lot of money. It's worth a lot more than I could have even sued the company for. It's worth more than maybe what the company made last month. In their profit, I mean. Garbage. I want to go up here on top of a hill. I want to see what's up there. And then I want to go over to the basketball court. That's going to be something special for me. Because I like to shoot basketball. I'm not good at it. But I do like to shoot basketball and I like to watch other people play. Even if they're really not that good, or they are. Either way. I was kind of raised going to basketball court as something to do, and I just liked hanging out. See, some people, they knock on you for that because I'm more of a person that, at times like that, I just love to hang out and have fun. That's my idea of fun. Something real is I perceive at least going somewhere, going for a walk, hanging out, going for a bike ride, I don't know, laying out and getting some sun at the beach. I got it out. It was stuck in this crack. Look. Yada-dee-da, yada-dee. See? Let me see. You see my finger down there? Whoop. It was caught in the middle there. And I'm going to take the seed and throw it away too. Think I should throw it out here and a corn stalk will grow? You think so? Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to throw it away. Okay? It's been sitting in my kitchen for about a year and a half, approximately, shortly after I started my music project. And what is 2021? 2019. I started January 23rd, 2019, and not long into it, things like this started to occur. Do you think the enemy was trying to grab my attention? I think so. And because I understand how corporations are distant in most situations, love, life, Christ-likeness, I decided that I would just make a video. You know, that's my big middle finger to you, okay? One thing I cannot stand is knowing that the land back in Lickdale probably is going to be either used for what? Corporate manufacture of some sort, or is going to be used for the trucking industry. Chances are it would be used for something in a manner that I would disapprove of if I lived out there. Do you think that could be part of the reason why I'm in Dayton, Ohio? As I saw all the land that I used to look at go deer spotting and stuff, acres and acres and acres of land had government signs, land protected or something like that by the government. Whenever you see that, there is a master plan coming in by a lot of corrupted people. The government doesn't protect land. What they try to do is what? Preserve land for future ideas. Because their way is what's best for humanity, isn't it? Well, if that's true, then go read your Bible and see how distant they are from Christhood and from the truths that are in there that aren't talked about too much, like we are entitled to use of all resources, and a man or group of man do not have the right to tread all over another man, especially the heart that God has given them. God, please use me to backhand the United States government and all that which is enemies to me and to life. And if you're not one of those people who are enemy-like, then I would say thank you for your service. I wouldn't be out here talking right now if I would have just known how to get my needs met. And let me tell you something. For all the people who lost out, especially in the financial department, there should be what? A major backlash of lawsuits to the people who highly recommended you something that doesn't exist. And guess what? The other planet up there, or whatever it is, Man Station, they wanted me to tell you that. See, there's things, you know what I think irritates even something, life forms from afar? Is that we haven't come into our common sense yet and decided to start living in a mature manner that says we no longer work and make money and give all of it away to everything else but ourselves and call that life. What is the answer? I don't know. Maybe we should fly up there and ask them. What do you think would work? All right, we're gonna go up here and see what's up here, and then we're on.